We are live.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the BitcoinZ call meetup on this 3rd of December, 2017. We're going to be discussing some developments in the community and what our next moves are going to be. And if anyone has any ideas, feel free to leave them in chat, and we'll be answering questions towards the end. Let's get straight into it.
Let's start with everybody introducing themselves. Even if you were here last time, go ahead and introduce yourself again, just in case we have people who have not watched the first video. I'll begin. I am Equipool, one of the developers slash just all-around engineering. I maintain some of the services, the sites, and I try to help out wherever I can.
Thanks, Equipool. I'll go next. CryptoRex here. A little bit of everything here and there. Helping in the chat. Technical explorer. Just anything that can help. Been here since, I guess, 5, 6 days, 7 days after the initial launch. So I'm here for the long haul.
Okay, I think I go next. My name is Heikst. I'm the person that's mostly on Facebook, trying to answer everybody's questions and post news on Facebook, and I'm also a guy that likes to discuss everything.
Okay. I'm Scribbles_MCMK on the Slack and Discord. And I'm also sort of a little bit of everything, helping everywhere I can. I'm leading the marketing team, and I sort of joined, I would say before Anthony left, I'd say 2 weeks since launch, but then I sort of stepped up like a lot of us did after Anthony left. And then we've got a pretty good, strong team right now, and we've moved very quickly and very far in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So yeah.
I think Jim's microphone isn't working. Jim Triangle, he joined BitcoinZ community in the middle of October, developer of the websiting website, and pool. And I can never pronounce this, perpignan.ovh.
Yeah, no idea. French.
All right, PN Star, you're next.
Not on. So does
Dreamscape, you're next then.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it's PN Star here. Sorry, I had my my microphone on mute before, so unless Dreamscape's going to jump in, I can I guess do my part. So yep, PN Star here. Joined the community back in late October when I started to mine this coin. I discovered it through basically Googling through Bitcoin Talk. My role on this particular coin or project itself is to really help out all the teams to be able to work together. So that may mean, just basically follow up on a few items, helping to come up with special projects and anything that the team really needs from a cross-team support perspective. Because there's a lot of teams that we have running around, but I'm just, I guess, considered the guy that could help get a few things moving in certain directions based on being able to work with certain individuals and try to make sure that we're kind of, going down the same path with the same goals, etc., etc. So I believe in this coin, and that's the reason why I'm here. And I look forward to further, I guess, progression with the amazing team that we've developed post, Anthony's departure. So yeah, I'm also here for the long term as well.
Dreamscape, you're up.
Hi, this is Dreamscape. Been here since about, I guess, in BitcoinZ for 3 months. Joined the team about 3 weeks ago when things were not so comfortable around the environment. I guess there was in need of everyone chipping in, and decided to join to chip in. Primarily looking after use cases, or how we can actually use BitcoinZ more of a strategic kind of thing. So I work with PN staff for the today's agenda on moving forward with using SWOT analysis to analyze the coin. Thank you.
CryptoX, do you have anything to say about let's go ahead and start with the Windows wallet. I haven't been keeping up too much on it. Does anybody have an update on that?
I know that Otis has been working on it, and he's posted a few screenshots as far as the progress is concerned. I don't have an exact date on it, but it is in development, and it is a Windows GUI wallet. There is information also on the info site, a screenshot of it there, and he's been periodically updating it, posting updates.
I think he said January time's likely for completion, so he's been putting a lot of hard work into it and it looks great so far, so hopefully by January we'll have it out.
Good deal. Will it be a full node wallet?
As far as I know, it is going to be. I think I heard him. I saw him typing about using it, the node alongside with it. So I think it is going to be. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like it's going to be, yes.
Cool. And until then, the Swing wallet works on Windows, correct? I use Linux, so I'm not too caught up with that.
It does. It does work on Windows.
Yeah.
Swing wallet.
Good deal. We've also got, since we're on the subject of wallets, the Swing wallet should work on all operating systems. I think I've heard that there may be some issues with it on OS X. Is that still the case?
I personally haven't tried it on macOS. I can't see there being a problem.
It's Java based, and Java is pretty universal. If you've tried to run it on Mac and you have issues, just let us know on Slack and we'll look into it. Beyond that, we've got the infamous Android wallet, the My BitcoinZ wallet. We last week chatted. I think we were talking about decentralizing the services in the back end. We were able to get that decentralized, and people see the notification that the wallet is no longer on a server. I forget how it's worded exactly, but yeah, if you're using the My BitcoinZ wallet and you see that message, just clicking recreate wallet just sends it to the new server. So what's actually happening there is the wallet application, it just communicates with the server, and we've decentralized that aspect, and we have 3 or 4 servers running in the back end. And so you may have created your wallet on one server, and then you load it up at another time and it's not connecting to that same server, it's connected to a different server, and so it doesn't have the information there. So clicking recreate allows that new server to set up your wallet. And what I mean by that is it doesn't have your private keys or anything like that. It just holds some metadata about your wallet. It caches your transactions so that when you load it up, it's quick. And that's basically the gist of it, is it's running on multiple servers just to increase decentralization. One issue that we currently have is multi-sig wallets. If you try to create one of those, the wallet will only exist on one server. And so basically, for those who don't know what a multi-sig wallet, it's a shared wallet. And so you basically generate the wallet, and then it gives you a private key that you pass on to other people, and they can put that same key in, and then they can join that same wallet. Well, since the wallet is created on one server, all the other people have to basically hit the request, put their private key on that same server for it to complete. But once the wallet is created and all the people have joined the wallet, then it can be distributed to the other servers. But until then, it has to be on that same server. So this is something we're looking into solving this issue. It's not a problem right now because we've only got 3 or 4. So if you get an error message, just keep hitting that button and eventually get created on all the servers and you can move on.
So that's just a basically that is just a result of having rotating servers, right?
Correct. And just to reiterate, there's no private information that's stored on these servers. It just tries to keep the connection between all of the wallets. We'll be releasing an update soon to the wallets, actually, that will automatically, so you don't have to click recreate every time we add a new server. It'll automatically do it if it's a trusted domain that you're connecting to. So that'll be less of an issue, but we're still working on the multi-sig issue.
Okay. Another thing I want to mention about that particular wallet system is there are a lot of people that have come to me in direct chat, either Telegram, Slack, or Discord, with having particular issues, and I'm very happy to help anybody recover their coins, because a lot of people come panicking thinking that their coins are gone, and we can't stress that enough, that your wallet really is just a gateway to the blockchain. So as long as you have your 12-word seed, you come to the chats. Someone will help you. I'll help you. I've even done it for some people and transferred their coins for them, help them out. So if there is any hesitation about that, just reach out. Someone will help you, and you will get your coins. As long as you have your 12-word seed, you should be in good shape.
The classic saying, your coins reside on the blockchain. So, like you said, you could destroy your computer, smash it up, have your house burned down. As long as you've got your 12-word seed, you'll still have access to your coins.
Yep.
Cool. So we've covered the Swing wallet, the Windows wallet, and the BitcoinZ wallet. Any other items?
I do want to mention also that as far as wallet, the core node wallet was just updated, merging the latest Zcash release of 1.013. And on info.btcz.rocks, I've also updated the panel. There's a link to the release notes to it. So one of the best things that I think that a couple of different things that they did was really cool. They lowered the ZK snarks, I believe, memory to 1.3 gigs instead of 3 gigabytes, I believe, 1.7 gigs of usage. So that'll help with lower gigabyte systems. And they also added a what they call a Shield Coinbase RPC call. So what that is going to do is it's going to help get your shielded, so your coins that you receive from a pool, depending on how you receive them, sometimes, or for the pools, sometimes when you find a block, when the pools find a block, they have to shield their coins before they send them out. So this new RPC call is supposed to help sweep those coins, how they mentioned in the explanation. So you won't have to be. It'll be a little bit less steps to shield your coins and be able to send them to another address without having any issues. So, or at least to alleviate some of the issues. So that's a big thing. We just merged those. Andev just merged those changes. So that should be available on the GitHub.
Yep. Sorry, what wallet was updated again? CryptoX. Sorry, I missed that last part.
That's the core node wallet that's on the GitHub.
Is that the Windows version? Is that right? Is that the?
No. So the core node wallet is the actual base Linux node wallet, that pretty much the core. So it's like the CLI version, the command line interface version.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
Right.
Yep.
That the pools and exchanges run.
Sure. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
In terms of wallets in the future, I know we've got quite a few ideas. try obviously get on iOS and be completely cross-platform. And the aim will be, like the MyBitcoinZ wallet was trying to do, we may rebrand to a different name, but we're going to be inter-platform, so use your private key on your different devices to access your coins from those different devices. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have heard of changing or kept coming up with another name as well, and kind of transitioning. I know that there is active. The wallet team is actively working on. I think also cleaning up some of the code base on that and releasing. I think that's going to come also with the way we handle our domain system. Is that right, Equipool?
Yeah. So as far as the MyBitcoinZ wallet goes, well, specifically for Android, there's 2 applications in the marketplace, and we actually just got those transferred to a community Android account. So we have access to the actual applications now, and we can upload updates. As far as those goes, there's 2 of them, and I haven't tested. I just got an Android phone, so I haven't had a chance to test both applications. I think they're the same, but they may not be. The goal is to figure out what the difference is and see if we can get just to one Android wallet. For iOS, there's issues. We've been talking about how to get on the App Store. So I guess Apple does not allow just any currency to have a wallet on the App Store. There's complications if you're not Bitcoin or one of the major top 3 or 4 coins. So we're looking at either continuing with trying to get them to allow us to have a wallet on the App Store. There's an alternative method that will allow us to basically get an app on iPhones via another app. So basically users would download this application. I forget the name off the top of my head, but they would download this other application and then they would search through that. It's kind of like, it's not really an alternate market, but they'd be able to search for the wallet or go to our website and we'd have a link for it. And they'd be able to install it through this other app. So we're not 100% sure which route we're going to go. We're going to try to work with Apple. If we can't make any progress, we might have to switch gears and go down this other route. I really don't want to have to include some other app to install our wallet, not necessarily for security purposes, but just for the hassle of having to do that.
Yeah, an option we can use that I know some developers do. We just make a separate domain, and then people can add that website to their home screen, and then that could function as a wallet potentially. But we'll see. Hopefully, Apple accept us, and that'd be the best option, really.
Yep. So we're still looking into those. From that, we can probably move straight into the domains aspect. We've been right now. Oh, did you have something to say?
No, go ahead.
We've got a lot of domains floating around, and everything from BitcoinZ.ph, BitcoinZ.global, BitcoinZ.site, my BitcoinZ wallet. And so this is getting a little confusing for new people, knowing where to go for what. And our idea is to condense everything into one domain, not undoing decentralization. We're not the goal is not to centralize everything, but just to have a consistent domain. The domain itself will still route through servers all over the world, run by different people, and the domain is owned by multiple people, and then the DNS itself is managed by multiple people. And so we'll still have decentralization there, but we'll have a domain name that's just the same for all the different applications. So the domain that we're looking at using is btcz.rocks. And so we'll have just btcz.rocks as a website. You'll go to wallet.btcz.rocks, and that'll be the web wallet, explorer. And then we'll have other subdomains within that. CryptoRex just put up this week info.btcz.rocks. And that's kind of like an announcement billboard where you can go and see currently right now what's what's new and what we're working on, and see how you can help with getting on exchanges and whatnot.
I'm going to add to that the BTCZ rocks domain idea. The way I've been seeing it work behind the scenes, it's interesting how we're able to manage everything decentralized. Even though there may be one domain, it may give the impression that there is a centralized aspect to it, but multiple people have access to the way the domains work, and also the way I've seen it is, you know, Cloudflare can also help. You know, in managing the way that works and where domains are pointed and what IP addresses they go to, obviously from the DNS standpoint. So I think it does obviously help a lot for confusion. There is a lot of different sites out there, and we can help point to different servers depending on what the services are, and I think that helps a lot. So anyone can. The point is that anyone can come and jump in and just you know, offer a service, and we can, you know, add it to that domain structure, and it'll be a little bit more organized in that aspect.
For sure.
The plan is we transition to this domain. For websites that people type in, we'll do automatic redirects. And so if you type in bitcoinz.global, we'll automatically redirect you to btcz.rocks. And we'll just let those domains run for a year until they expire. Hopefully by then people will be familiar with the domain that we're switching to. For domains that are hard coded, say in a wallet that use it as a service, we'll release updates that we'll start using the new domain, and then we'll let that domain go until it expires.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, let's move on to the donation page.
So the donation page, I saw it last, I think yesterday. It looks complete to me. I think it just needs to be hosted somewhere, and I don't know if it sits on GitHub or not, or where it's at. But if I can get a hold of that and convert it, I personally I like to use, well, of course, plain HTML is fine too, but I like to use Node.js just because to me it's really portable. It's easy to install any package for it. So either on GitHub or converted, I would like to get my hands on that so that we can host it. I mean, I can host it somewhere, some space, and get that up and going. I know it is pretty much complete, so it's just a matter of getting it up and going. And I don't know who has that package. I think it was Crypto Miziak or Miziak. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, I think he has that, and I think he's done developing it. Miziak.
Yeah, so right now we have a donations page on the website, but it's fairly simple and it doesn't give too much information beyond the addresses that we are, our donation addresses. So this new page is supposed to kind of give a lot more information, be more visually appealing, and kind of show our different goals and how far along we are in those goals.
About the website, I guess I want to kind of about the main or the BitcoinZ.global website, the web front. I'm still having a little bit of some things with it on the menus, so I don't know if that's just a Firefox issue or not. But I think whoever, I can help look into that as well. I don't know what's going on with it. I know that the code maybe had something to do with the code or the transfer, but I know some people have brought it up.
Yeah, so great point. I'm going to sidetrack a little bit from the agenda, but we have on GitHub, we set up 2 namespaces. So we have the BitcoinZ-pod namespace, which is where we have the core code and some of the wallets. We've also set up BitcoinZ-wallets namespace, where we're putting just new applications that we're working on, like the Bitcore forks, which is the My BitcoinZ wallet. And then I've also created BitcoinZ-sites, which is where we're going to put in different sites, like we have the guides website, and then we also have the BitcoinZ.global site. So I have plans to clean up the code that BitcoinZ runs on. But if you know web dev, please feel free to hop in and on that GitHub repo and submit a PR, and we'll merge it and get it pushed out to all the servers.
Cool.
Okay, I think we're ready to move on to some exchange discussions.
Well, what I see here, I know we've been hearing a lot of this, and I know Hikes can probably attest to this, but on the social media front, crypto broker, I don't know cryptobroker.io. I tried to ping Ryan a few times, so I think at this point, it's we don't ever. I personally never recommend any particular exchange, and this one I do. I do think there are some issues going on with it. Those issues are beyond our control, obviously. We can only message so much ourselves and try and get their attention, but I do believe there was some issues raised with it, with that exchange. So at this point, it seems like it's just a fair warning if you're going to use that exchange for withdrawing BTCZ. I believe that's what the main issue is right now.
I know Crypto Broker, I saw he was in Slack early on when BitcoinZ was first released, and he first released his Crypto Broker.io exchange. He said that he manually approves every withdrawal, and I think that's actually standard for exchanges to do that. Now, most exchanges that are bigger will have multiple people on staff, but I think this is mainly one guy that's running this. So if you see delays, it's not because they're stealing your money or anything like that. More than likely, it's just because they're manually approving withdrawals just to make sure that somebody didn't go in and try to manipulate the system to get extra coins and start stealing from people. So my guess is that's the reason for why withdrawals take so long. But just be mindful that while it's unfortunate that it does take more time, there's probably a purely valid reason. I haven't heard any stories about anybody not getting their money at all. I've just heard.
No, not at all.
We might need to have like a website as well on the BTC Walks where people can actually report their issues, so that if they do not get their the withdrawals or the deposits on the exchange, that we at least know what's happening. Because at the moment I'm just getting spammed on Facebook like crypto broker this shit, blah blah blah, and I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
As far as-
we're gonna have a questions and answers page, I believe, on there, sort of similar to like Zendesk, I believe, is one of them or something. So you can come there for support, and they can find commonly asked questions and the answer to them. And when we get the website sorted, I believe we're also going to have a sort of roadmap of sorts going across not only what we're going to do in the future, but the progress of current projects and how close they are to completion, so people don't have to keep asking over time, what's happening, what's happening, what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great idea to get a location to have somebody or where anyone can go and submit. Maybe it can be a form or a Google form or something like that. I mean, I've really kind of grown a liking to those Google forms. They're really helpful. You can basically ask anything, and it works out pretty good. We'll receive those responses. Maybe something like that could help as well.
Sounds good. This week we've heard that a lot of people have been having issues with CSEX exchange. They've had a lot of downtime. What we've heard is that basically they're migrating to new servers. And I don't know if that's completed yet, but if you've had troubles with working with them, that's more than likely the cause. There's some potential issues with the account. We're trying to work through those. We don't know whether we're going to stay with them or not. Basically, if they come to us and ask for more money, we'll probably say no, mainly because people have had such terrible experiences with them as it is. But we'll see we'll announce more as we know more. Right now, it's kind of a lot of speculation, and we're just not sure what the status is. So we'll see how things go in the future. Anybody have anything you want to say about that, by chance?
Nope, not for me.
I was just going to mention other exchanges in the future. People ask a lot of questions. When are we going to get here? When are we going to get there? We're not aiming to spend community funds right now that we've raised from the community chest on getting onto exchanges, because exchanges generally want money for it. I believe, what's the name? HitBTC wants something ridiculous, like almost 10 BTC to join their exchange. So we just cannot afford to be paying those massive amounts at this time. And it would be much better suited if we spend funds that have been donated on getting websites sorted, maybe doing marketing promotions, etc., and paying for website domains and hosting server costs, etc., because that'll be a much more beneficial use of the money than paying HitBTC to get onto their exchange, or Bittrex, or insert your favorite exchange here, and then not having a finished coin that everyone can actually use for the reason it's been made.
Sounds good. Okay, next up on the list is server migration status. Last we talked, Anthony was still running most of the services, if not all of them. We've successfully migrated everything that we plan to continue to maintain. The My BitcoinZ wallet was supposed to be decommissioned on the 28th of November, but we've since migrated that off to other servers and decentralized it. So we plan to continue to support it. While we don't promote it, it's a centralized application. We're running it in a decentralized manner, but with that wallet, you can't, there's no full node. And so it doesn't support the coin when you use that wallet. It's great, it's convenient, but if you can run the Swing wallet and hopefully the Windows wallet when that's released, those run full nodes, which makes the coin stronger, and it secures transactions and verification and whatnot. So all the services that Anthony was hosting are now running on other servers. In addition, there's the connect.bitcoinz. Was that PH or global? I'm not sure, but it was a forum. We are not planning to support that, mainly because there's licensing involved, and I don't know how much it costs, but I think it's a pretty expensive license. And there's plenty of other means for us to communicate. There's communication as a whole is quite a endeavor when you're talking about a community that's decentralized and global. We have Slack and Discord and all that, but we're kind of still researching, trying to figure out what's the best way for us to communicate. CryptoX made the info.btcz.rocks, and that's a great way for us to be able to post updates that people could check on and see near live updates on various things that are going on. So I don't think the forum was really necessary for us. Plus, it started getting hammered by spam bots, and that wasn't picking up. Correct? That's a yes.
You broke up a little bit towards the end there, Equal.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about how you'd mentioned that the forum was getting hammered by spam bots.
Oh yeah, it was. I think there was some bot that went and listed, I don't know, like 700 movies or something to download, and I mean, they have an easy way to get rid of that, but that kind of effort, that kind of forum, maintaining that requires moderators and people that are constantly on it. So I think at this stage, it'd be a bloated platform to use for at least disseminating information that we need to. That's the idea with the info.btcz.rock site. So the info bulletin, that's where we want to get with that site and keeping everyone up to date.
Just to add on to that, He mentioned the 700 odd movies that were added there. Don't click on links from anyone anywhere unless they're from official community pages or they're from the better known community members. So some of us, and we've got Periphery and some other people that are often in the chat. Otherwise, you could be downloading something that's trying to steal your coins, keylog you, and all sorts. Because the crypto space is quite right now a technologically skillful area, and there's a lot of people that are technologically able. And when there's a lot of money and people are able to take it, they're going to attempt to do so. So be vigilant, practice normal web safety, don't click on any dodgy links, etc. And just keep safe, basically.
And actually, on that same note, just because you see somebody post a link in Slack does not mean it's an official link or it's a trusted link. We have well over 1,000 members in these communication channels, and they're not necessarily all looking for your well-being. So if somebody posts a link, use your look at it and make sure it's something that you can trust before clicking on it and moving forward.
Exactly. Just for an example, last stream we had a guy that kept pasting his own address as a donation address. So only donate to the official address to help out the community. Otherwise, some guy's just going to run off your coins and it's not going to help the community. So make sure you do your due diligence whenever you're going to do anything and download anything and donate anything, and make sure you're doing it to the right place. And we then benefit from it. Everyone benefits from it, and the coin moves forward. Gonna move on to the next topic in the agenda.
Game dev.
Yeah, my personal opinion on this, which I'm not sure how it echoes with everyone else. I don't think we need to focus on it as much as other stuff right now. I think game dev should be a side community fun project people want to do in their own time, but we can have the issues arising like we had with the gambling game that was made. We cannot support that. We can't really advertise that because gambling's illegal for under 18s, and we can't really validate anyone's under 18. And I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with what happened in the CSGO scene, but you had a bunch of gambling websites that kids were using and spending and losing hundreds of dollars. So I think if we focus on core aspects as opposed to game dev stuff, we should be able to move forward. I mean, it's a great idea, and any games that are made, it's great promotion for the coin. And for sure, if you want to make one, we don't discourage it, and we'll probably promote you, but we can't officially promote that sort of stuff. I don't think so. Anyone got any input on that?
No, I agree. I think that's good. That's other than, I mean, you hit the nail there on the head. It makes sense. It's a fun side project. They are working on it, and it's going to keep going. We can of course, within the boundaries of the code of conduct and potential legality issues, that's the line that we walk on. So.
Yep.
And along with that, if it's a game that promotes BitcoinZ that is not a gambling game, I think that's something that's okay for us to be involved with. But as far as gambling, yeah, I'm not. We definitely shouldn't be promoting that in any way.
Yeah, and any games, gambling sites, or anything like that, they won't be 100% community. They're not going to be decentralized. They're not going to stand with the same ideas that the community holds at the core level. So be careful when going to these gambling sites, for example. We don't know if they're going to pay you out. We don't know who runs them. And because it's not decentralized, it's controlled by one person that can do whatever the hell they want, really. So you want to, again, do due diligence, check with us on anything from the core team or one of the trusted community members, and work from there. Right.
Moving on to the voting system.
Yep. So the voting system, I know last time around we mentioned a lot of different things, and even some of the chats got pretty interesting about the voting system. Right now, I will say that some of the decisions are somewhat minor. They're impactful to the project, but they're minor in terms of what the detriment could be. And when I say that, I mean some of the campaigns that are on the info site that we have up there. We're asking the community to vote on so that we can withdraw some funds from the community chest. So that those types of decisions that are on the board now, it makes sense to just use something simple. So I'm using straw poll or other third party, easy to use. Maybe some duplication involved. That's not gonna. It's like I would call a minor decision. It's not thousands and thousands of dollars that we're asking from the community chest. So that makes sense in this situation. But we are looking. I think we are considering third party. Maybe even services. We're just not at that level right now. I know that I think Hikes was looking into some research or was researching some methods that involved quite a bit of involvement.
Yeah, you could do it in multiple ways. You can basically do a voting system at a third-party company, but it will require a lot of money. Or you can implement your own anonymous voting system, but then you need to have some really smart guys working on it.
There's a lot of issues. I mean, I know Andev had the idea. He's one of the developers. He had the idea of the more coins you hold, the more votes you have. That sort of went against what my personal beliefs and core values were. So I don't think we're going to be doing that. I think we're going to have to just figure out a way that stops people duplicating votes. That's what our main issue is right now, because nothing stops somebody from voting, changing their IP through a VPN, for example, voting, changing their IP through another VPN, voting, changing that. And they can do that hundreds of times. They can people do that hundreds of times. So that could then sway the vote in a way that's not what the true community believes in.
Yeah, that's probably why we need to do something in the future. Like people have a set of amount of time to register for the vote, and then when the vote goes live, you can actually vote, so that you don't have people doing that.
So can I suggest something that might be in in consideration? Just assume that we have 4 wallets, and 4 wallets are actually assumption there are 4 options available for someone to vote with, and you tell the person, okay, you contribute something like 100 BTCZ. Okay, this is just a arbitrary amount. It can be of any amount, and you allow the decision to be made. So someone who's intending to influence has to lose something, right? The amount is it's going to be arbitrary for now, but you have 4 wallets, which is really simple enough to know which wallet or which opinion matters. So that way you are in control, and you are also in some form of collecting on dues for influence. And many softwares before in open source have done that. You pay for a feature, and you influence the feature. And it's nothing new. But in this case, we have a stronger case because we have wallets are very unique. You can't actually change that. It's very easy to integrate. And if you have the amount, and which means either you're mining or buying, you have the influence because you own something, right? And if you want it to grow, you have to pay for it. It's a very logical economic sense to make when we are trying to do this.
I think that sort of voting is okay in a short term, but one problem that I see with it is basically it allows the rich to always get their way. If we make it
exactly
100 BTCZ or 1,000 BTCZ, and you can send as many donations as you want, and I have 10 million in my wallet, I can send a million and outvote 1,000 people or 10,000 people, which I'm not a big fan of. While it's great that that money would go to the community and we'd be able to do a lot more things with it, I do see a problem with letting the rich always get their way. But I think initially, in the short term, it's probably a good idea. And CryptoRx, it may be a good idea to go ahead and implement a system like this for the smaller things. But for bigger issues that are a lot more serious, I think it would be good for us to have a more fair system where everybody has the same voice.
The idea is that everyone's equal, so you could have 1 BTCZ, or you can have 100 million BTCZ. it shouldn't influence what your voice says about the community. And it's the argument that the person with 10 million or 100 million BTCZ obviously is more driven in the community, so they obviously have a better opinion than the guys who only got 1 BTCZ. But that shouldn't be the point. It's a difficult discussion. We had like a very heated debate about it a couple days back, discussing what the different voting system should be, and it's going to be a topic that's going to continue being discussed until we figure something out that everyone likes, really, because everyone's got their own sort of opinion and idea. Some of them correlate, but obviously everyone thinks there's a way of doing it, and we've got to find holes because every system can be beaten. So we need to find out a system that can limit itself from being beaten. So straw poll can get beaten for people using VPN. The paying for a vote can get beaten by somebody making multiple wallets and paying loads. So we can't use a system that cannot not have duplicate votes, but we need to figure out how to reduce, limit, if not completely remove duplicate votes.
So just again, the earlier suggestion was just to make sure that we have some form of system to collect votes. It does not need to be of any monetary value. It can be just 1 BTC or 0.001, but it's a very authenticated system. Now, if we look at in terms of if you want to be anonymous and at the same time retain authenticity, it does not happen. It doesn't go in hand in hand. We have to come to an agreement that it is the case and that we cannot overcome. So if we're going to practice voting system, there must, if you want to be fair, then you have to have some form of citizenship ownership, which means the voters have to register themselves or have some form of authenticated point or whatever it is as an individual. Because in terms of any kind of vote, it can come from a community that's not involved. That means a community is someone who has no whatsoever interest within. And similarly to the spam that we have faced, they're going to have some kind of influence which we do not want. So obviously, it's not going to end today in terms of this conversation. It's something that we need to get back to it maybe a month from now after digesting it offline. But as I said, you can't have one end the other and have the cake to eat it. So you have some kind of authentication system, and then only can you have authenticity. If you do not have any kind of authentication system, and if we want to stick to the principles of anonymity, then we are going to face false votes. That is something that we have to accept. So it's something we have to digest.
I agree. When it comes to voting, we do need some way of authenticating, or I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be personally identifiable in any way, but some way of tying people to votes, just to restrict them from making multiple votes. We actually have somebody who is working on a vote through Slack or Discord.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and he's made some progress with it. I haven't seen the latest version, but it's just an idea, and he's writing something for us to test out and see if we can actually make it work. If you have ideas, feel free to share it with us. And if it's something that you can develop, go ahead and let's see if we can make progress with that. But it's definitely something that we're not going to solve in in one chat or in one day or 1 month. Probably it's definitely something the whole world's kind of working on because it's a big problem.
Yep.
The sort of just to quickly add before we move on, because we'll be here for hours talking about the best voting system. The benefits of the Slack or the Discord way of voting. It gets people that are involved in the community, have interest in the community, and want to communicate with the community. And the idea would be that you'd get a code DM'd to you from the bot when there's a vote, so you can only vote that one time with your code, and you can't get multiple codes to vote for. So that would limit the number of duplicates. But that takes development, and I'm sure there's also problems with that. So we'll just have to move on, and we'll be happy to have this discussion anytime in the general chat as well. So Cloudflare community account. Anyone want to talk about that?
We're a little bit above that. I wanted to just touch on the info.btcz.rock site, the panel. There's we're going to add additional information, PR and marketing status. We don't have a panel for that quite yet, but this is going to be an evolving info bulletin. So there's going to be a lot of different things that you're going to see coming up, adding or adjusting the way things are presented. But I know so right now there is a proposal on that we are supposed to receive some detailed or some details about promotion, and that is through our Google form system that we created through the bulletin site. So I'm waiting for that to come through, and we're gonna put it on the voting block to just get an idea of what can be done in the marketing PR side, and that was from Yanni. So I'm waiting for that to come through. There's some other proposals that are there that you're gonna periodically see new proposals on the voting block. So we're gonna, depending on what they're about, we put them on, create a straw poll or anything that can be voted on a voting system, and it usually involves some details about what the proposal is about and what the budget is, the budget amount that they're seeking from the community chest. So that just gives some visibility into the way it's working. Again, this could evolve. It's going to evolve. I'm not going to say it could, because it's going to, the way we process these proposals. Infrastructure issues and status, there's going to be additional information as well on how it's going, but I would like some feedback on the way the statuses are, the color coding. We just launched this a couple days ago, so it's just a work in progress, but it is, we've had a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people like the way it's working, that they have some kind of, at least a window into what's going on behind the scenes. So working hard on getting that, keeping it updated. One of the things I had an idea on adding is a seeking panel, so it's almost like seeking employees type of panel. So we're gonna have a list of maybe certain skill sets or certain areas that we can add team members for, that we need more team members for, and I think that we're also going to add a maybe a button that says, how can I help? And you just submit and fill out your skill set, what you're willing to do, what the time that you can be involved with the project. Little things like that that'll help keep the project going and to add more people, because we're about growing the community. So that's some of the ways that we're going to use the info site and the bulletin site. The Cloudflare community account, I think that is part of sharing the way the domains work. So that's just it's not directly related to the info site, but it is about, I know we have one domain or maybe more right now, Equipool, that we're using to that we're managing through Cloudflare, and I just wanted to mention that that is multiple persons have access to that, so we can make changes or add domains to the Cloudflare account.
Yeah, decentralization is definitely the key. With Cloudflare, right now the goal is the 3 domains or the 4 domains I listed earlier that we're using. They are still owned by Anthony. He was not able to transfer them to us because new domains are locked on the same account for 60 days, 90 days. Each domain has a different time period. And so when those domains mature, if you will, he'll be transferring them to us, and then we'll be setting them up in a distributed fashion so multiple people can access those accounts. But the btcz.rocks is currently in the perfect position. We're hosting it, or the registrar for it is google.domains. And Google allows us to share ownership of that domain with multiple people. So we don't have to, give the username and password out to multiple people. It's actually shared with their account, which is nice for security purposes. And then Cloudflare, same situation there. We just have the domains pointed at, and we have a shared account that multiple people can access. And through that, we manage the IP addresses that the servers point to. And so for most of the services, we have multiple servers running those services. But the goal is to get everything distributed. So if you have hosting space or and are willing to run Node applications, PHP applications, let us know, and we can get you set up to run some of those sites. We've even got sites that are just basic HTML, so you can run those also.
That does remind me about the info site is on a GitHub repository. So if anybody wants to contribute in any way or has some ideas, just submit away and we'll work on it together. But it is up there. It's just basic HTML right now, and well, it is part of a Node.js package, but it's just really mainly just HTML. So that is available for anyone to jump in and help.
Cool. Oh, go ahead.
All right. The next item we have here is updating the white paper. So one of the things that I noticed that we kind of just jumped into, and that was the proposal procedure. So right now you go to the info bulletin site and you click the submit button and you fill out the form and then we get it. But there is no real procedure yet, but that's just because it kind of just happened. And there has been some confusion. We have had some submittals, but that is going to be outlined in the updated white paper, the Google form, and the way the voting links work. So that's part of what's going to be updated, and also going to clarify the voting procedure for withdrawing from the community chest, because as of now, we haven't outlined a basic procedure on how that should work. Obviously, we do know that it's, as we mentioned before, it involves some sort of voting, and that right now isn't in the white paper, so that is something we're going to add. So it's adding proposal procedure details and clarifying the voting procedure for withdrawing from the community chest.
Yes, just to quickly segue off the white paper, we will update that soon and put any ideas people have that are good and the community agrees with, and we can vote on what we want to put on the white paper, so we can sort of put the direction of where we want BitcoinZ to go. That sort of makes sense.
I haven't looked at it in a while. CryptoX, is there a date modified on the paper?
There is a date on the footer of when it was last updated. That was November 1st.
Okay, just good. It'd be good for people so that when they pull it up from the site, they can see if there's anything new in there from the last time. All right, next up, marketing.
So that goes to as far as what's listed here, there's a few campaigns running right now that you can earn BTCZ for, and they're on the site on the campaigns panel. It's a YouTube campaign, and there's 2 Twitter campaigns that are running, and there's also a donations for hash power that's very interesting, actually. It's managed by HashGod, one of the community members. And it involves a drawing that's going to take place, I believe, on the 27th of December. So if you go to the site, you can read the full details in the document, and you can enter to win 50 KSOL of hash power for 24 hours, depending on your donation. Or there's a second drawing. You can win 50 KSOL for 6 hours, and that is also dependent on the amount that you donate. And that reminds me, I do need to update the current hash donors. There's also part of that same campaign. You can actually pledge to donate to be part of that 50K SOL that's going to be donated to the winners of the drawing. So that's something interesting to look at. It's promoting the hashing power, and it's promoting the coin pretty well. It worked very well last time in round 1. This is round 2. So you can read the full details there on the document and get involved.
Yeah, in terms of marketing, my personal opinion, I think we should hold back on going really in depth into any marketing, and until we have all the wallets working and all the core features of the website sorted and everything. So hopefully late December, early next year, hopefully we can get a lot of marketing out there. Target cryptocurrency YouTubers, as well as maybe more mainstream YouTubers, as well as Twitter accounts, and then potentially we might, if we have community chest allowing, advertisements running, maybe on websites like What to Mine, Crypto News, and stuff like that. So that should get our name out there more, and hopefully that will bring adoption. I know one great way of advertising, if we can get a reliable exchange and get back on What to Mine, that will bring a lot of people back in, but then it brings people that are just there to make money as well. So it doesn't bring the community aspect. It just brings people that are there just to mine, then dump, then mine, then dump. So we've got a couple of marketing ideas in the works, and definitely be hearing quite a bit more from the marketing team in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Can I say my 2 cents? I think when we talk about marketing, you need to have a target audience. In cryptocurrency, the target audience varies so much. And if you want to actually push a cryptocurrency level to the next level, who would be the target audience? Are we talking about miners? Are we talking about retailers? Are we talking about consumers who actually will use the coin? I think that is a very essential definition that we have to make in marketing, because we can go out there and spam all we like at the miners, but they are not the one who's actually going to bring the currency to the next level. So it's something that we have to take note, and we have to understand that that is a group. I mean, I'm not saying that it has to be consumers. I'm saying that we have to make that decision. Who is that group that we want to target?
My personal idea of the coin, anyway, is that it's going to be used sort of what PayPal's trying to do now, where they have the idea of everyone using it all the time for everything. So like paying in store, paying online, paying your friend, receiving payments, etc. And I think that's what we sort of want to do with our blockchain technology. It'll be better, and we'll be much better at doing it, cheaper at doing it, and we wouldn't have the whole dealing with PayPal's horrible customer support, may I add. So my idea is that we become a consumer and sort of a general public coin that's used every day for everything. We have a payment API for websites. We have maybe a hardware wallet down the line, NFC mobile wallets, for example, maybe. Stuff like that, where we have mass adoption past the just cryptocurrency community, but really get everyone involved in crypto. Sort of be what Bitcoin was meant to be, peer-to-peer digital cash. The right way, not the it costs you $50 to send anything.
Do we have the infrastructure to execute such a way that many users can actually transact at the same time? That is the next big question that we.
Yeah.
Yeah, the core of the blockchain itself can handle that kind of transaction. It's got the privacy, just lost my train of thought, but basically there's no concern with the blockchain itself. It can handle that kind of load, and that's the goal, is for us to be target new people who are being introduced to cryptocurrency. This is a coin that doesn't cost much to acquire right now, so it's perfect for people to come in and buy a bunch of coins and start using them. And as far as integrations with real world, while the community as a whole, we're trying to build various things to kind of promote that, it's going to actually be up to businesses. So entrepreneurs out there who are looking to build a platform to integrate with, banks and local vendors and whatnot, they're the ones that are going to be able to take this blockchain and do the integrations. It's not necessarily going to be a community effort. The community is here to support them in any way we can, but it's going to be a for-profit thing, integrating the blockchain into the real world, if that makes any sense.
Exactly. I think that's where I can see a core idea going, rather than being a game coin or something like that. I think our main idea needs to be mass consumer adoption. So I can go to a cafe and buy a coffee with BTCZ. I can then do my online shopping with BTCZ on Amazon, let's say, the dream. And then I can go to my friend and pay him for his shoes or something in BTCZ. So everything can be done through BTCZ, cross-platform. That's the idea. That's what PayPal's trying to do, I believe, and they haven't achieved that. I don't think they're going to achieve it because they're just stuck with their old ways. and sort of ultimately. So
again, today, just to bring things to reality, I was having lunch with my other half, and she was quite keen on understanding. She comes from a finance environment, so she was quite keen to understand how we're going to make. We still live in the real world where fiat currency is still, of certain value. So to her, she wanted to know how easy or how hard is it to buy BTCZ. You have to understand at the current moment when we look at BTCZ, we are looking at a very technical aspect. We go to the exchange, we click a button, we wait for a while, we get the currency, and then we pay for it with BTC, and then we pay by BTC using USD or SGD or whatever currency you have. This is a painstaking process for a consumer or an average user. So I think
completely agree.
Before we go into marketing, these are technical aspects that we need to minimize into easier workflows. That means one-click purchase, one-click sell. It can go to the exchange, and it can take some time, but it has to be a one-click process. And that's something that I think we need to concentrate on before even we tell people, hey, this is the best currency in the world. And they're going to ask us, how easy is it to buy? And if you're going to tell them, oh, yeah, you go to the exchange, you put some money in and you buy some BTC, and then you go to BTCC, you buy that, you lost the consumer.
Yeah, exactly. We need to make it. That was the next thing I was going to try to talk about. The idea with having easy to understand GUI wallets, or GUI, don't get into that heated debate, is to allow your grandmother to use BTCZ without any issue if she knows how to use a phone. So the sort of same idea that anybody can have that easy access. Right now we haven't got that. Right now we're very. Our Swing wallet is very technical to use for most people. We need something maybe similar to, like, I'm sure people have seen Exodus. If we can get on that platform, or if we can make our own platform that looks like Otis is working on that, that's what can bring mass adoption. And then in terms of the buying of BTC Z, we need to find like you mentioned, a one-click process. And I know if we can get that, we'll obviously get consumer mass adoption. I know you've had coins, for example, like Vertcoin trying to do something similar to that. They have got a one-click miner. So if we can do similar stuff like that, we've got one-click purchase. You just put your information in, you can then buy the coin. Maybe we can even do that at a fee to raise funds, for example, for the community, because it would take quite a bit of development to get that going, as well as potentially legal qualification, I believe. CryptoRex, have you got any info on that sort of side of stuff? Or
well, it definitely will involve hiring a legal team for sure, especially when you're putting your hands on government currency or country's currency. So there is some, you need consulting on that end, and you need legal, obviously, and then regulatory expectations. You have a lot of regulatory involved, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do that completely ourselves. I mean, we could lead that, and we could, go with a support system that already has those types of transactions. So getting on a platform would segue us into a market like that. But again,
if we could be our own platform, that would obviously be better. We'd be like, instead of being an altcoin, we'll be seen as a big player, sort of thing. You understand?
Yeah, I mean, it is something. It is definitely something for the future, and something community driven that way also. And there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things on both sides that people can say. Well, you as a community, team, you're involved in issuing your own currency, and that just gets into all kinds of different things as well. But it's not something to forget about. It's not something to not consider. Definitely, I think we should always consider that and work towards being able to offer that type of functionality.
So I agree with crypto and say that we need a minimum viable product, however the service is provided. So even if we need to go to a current exchange who has fiat currencies available with them, it's okay, it's fine. I don't think we should aim so high into saying that we want to have every piece of the pie as a community. We just want to allow users to use it. And as we go along, that minimum viable product can grow into a essential product for the community. But I think achieving it in the shortest time frame through however means automating the process at the back end. That means it goes into the exchanges, it takes the fiat currency. The exchanges can do all the job in the back end. But what we need to provide is an easy to use interface. That's about it. There's no need to aim for it so high, because if we do, regulatory in different countries means something else, and we may end up in something that we do not want to.
Yeah, I think it all goes to the common goal of having less friction and adopting and having or less friction in the community or newcomers adopting the currency, and that is something like you're saying, that you're mentioning, making it a lot easier, which is I would say is a fundamental goal of the project.
Yeah, the idea, I think, with the MyBTC wallet when it was around, and still is, but we're rebranding that. The idea behind having the sort of clean user interface is to make it, as you mentioned, as frictionless as possible, which will bring mass adoption, new money, and hopefully one day we'll be able to, like it's mentioned here on the agenda as a joke, can we actually go buy a kebab with the BTCZ? Can we actually go and do something?
Yeah, exactly.
Can we actually, because right now, even Bitcoin doesn't really have that. We're only now starting to see the availability of that. So it may involve setting up a company in a country, for example, for the legal issues, etc. And obviously that's not near, I can't see that happening in the next 3 to 6 months. But right. The rate the community is working at, something like that is very possible. And the technology is definitely there. We can definitely technologically do it. It's just the funding aspect of it.
Yep.
And getting a couple more developers in to help out the guys, because our developers are working overtime and they're not getting paid for it at the minute. So we need to find an infrastructure to support those developers so we can get stuff done quicker. Because you've got places and stuff like Lisk, for example, as an example. There you've got a great idea and they've got a massive team behind them, but they take forever to do anything. They're taking long times to do a lot of stuff that you'd think would be pretty arbitrary and quite simple to do. But it's not on the developing side of stuff. It does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of people working together and collaborating. So we'll need to find a sort of support infrastructure, maybe from the community, to do that sort of development work, potentially.
Yeah, and I just want to stress that, when it comes to utilizing the coin in real world applications, it's more than the community. I think it's going to be up to entrepreneurs to come up with ideas on how we can utilize BTCZ and to actually come up with real world ideas. So, I'm an entrepreneur, and if I can build an application that integrates the blockchain through an exchange to convert US dollar to BTCZ and back, then I can build a service around that, allowing local vendors to accept BTCZ, and it will automatically pay them in US dollars. And same thing, we could build an application that where people can install a wallet and do a one-click pay. Here, connect my account or my bank account and withdraw $100, convert it to BTCZ, and now I can use it at these vendors. And so while the community is working on efforts to research into and build some of these things, entrepreneurs have every opportunity to do the exact same thing, and it's a window into potentially a lot of profit if they can actually build a product that can be utilized by thousands of people. That's a great business potential.
Long story short, my idea, we take over Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal, guys. Yeah, who's up for that?
That's quite a feat.
But hey, that'll be the dream. The development right now, we need to focus on getting a core product out there that right now even some of the IT guys are having problems working with. So we need to make sure everything's down to the T, everything's working properly before we start marketing, advertising, and moving into a bigger sort of marketplace where when we have to then have businesses relying on us, where we can't have this not working or an error here, an error there. We need to make sure that everything is to the T working, so we get that mass adoption.
So talking about exchanges real quick, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh no, the price of BTCZ is 26 satoshis, 25 satoshis. It's dying and yada yada yada." I just want to share my personal view is that the coin won't die until the community dies, and so it really doesn't matter what the current
80 years or so.
What's that?
I just made a joke. 80 years or so.
Yeah. So, as long as the community is strong and vibrant and, active, then it doesn't matter at all what the current price is. Actually, the lower the price, the better for all of us because we can buy those coins even cheaper. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin sat at a very low price for years. Nobody saw potential in it. Just a few people that really held on and kept working on it, and eventually it caught on. And eventually it got big. And now it's the biggest thing in the crypto world. I see BTCZ as in that exact same situation, except in a better situation, because crypto is a lot more accepted now than it was back then. And it's a brand new coin. I mean, right now we're sitting at about 3 months in, and we already have a community of well over 1,000 people that are active in chats, much more than that who are mining it. And there's a lot of groups that are working on a lot of different things. So the community is what matters. If I start seeing the community fall apart, then that's when I would worry. Until then, though, the price doesn't matter at all. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of different projects, and I think I mentioned this last time. We have private groups in Slack and Discord. And those private groups, the only reason they're private is just because to allow people to focus. Anybody who wants to help out with different skills, let us know. I know CryptoRex mentioned that we're looking at creating a page on the site where people can offer to help and list their expertise. And then we'll invite you into whatever private group you can help out with. But just because General isn't being flooded with ideas here's what we're working on with the site and whatnot, doesn't mean nothing is happening. There's actually a lot happening. It's just we try to keep everybody focused on what their expertise is so that they're not getting too interrupted.
Yeah, I agree with that. One question that came up, or one suggestion from a guy, they said, could we have the potential to buy BTCZ from an ATM like you have with Bitcoin? That could be an idea in the future. It's stuff like that, though, creates legal issues, and then you have to buy a location, and then it's a lot of money to get into. So until we are adopted by a wider community, and we've got, let's say, at least an online payment API, then we can start considering ATMs and stuff. But that would require an actual company to be set up to sort of deal with the legal side of that sort of stuff. So
yeah, and
I see that being
BTC, the coin, the guys that manage BTC and write the code for Bitcoin, they're not the guys that are setting up these ATMs. They're actually companies that are collecting a fee for somebody using the ATMs. And so it's the same thing with BTCZ is it's gonna, as the community grows and it becomes more popular, that's what's gonna happen is people will start adopting the coin into their services, whether it's the same company that does Bitcoin or whether it's new companies that grow out of BitcoinZ. That remains to be seen.
Exactly. That's where I think if our price stays low, it's actually a benefit because, okay, we have a massive supply of like 21 billion coins, but if the price stays relatively low and we have a mass adoption, it makes BTCZ usable. It makes it, and because we have quick transactions, it makes it usable in the real world. So that adoption of ATMs or Coinbase, for example, good luck with that. Stuff like that is something that not necessarily the community's going to do, but people from outside that are there, okay, maybe to make money, but it also then helps the coin out as well in the long run.
And there's nothing wrong with, companies wanting to make money, whether it's a pool that, charges a fee to keep their service running, or whether it's an ATM that charges a fee to keep the actual ATM in place. That's perfectly fine. And I think, as a community, we promote growth in every fashion, whether it's through businesses or through community projects. We're pro everything.
You cut out.
Probably just stopped talking.
Oh, sorry. I think there was a couple of things here on the some ideas we had already. I guess we had discussed on future things to come. I think as you can tell, there are probably endless amounts of ideas that we're getting, and our reach is just ever extending. Some of the things that I see listed here, the basic desktop wallets and different versions of that. We do have something that's being worked on, and I think that there's going to be a lot of in the future, very near future, probably people just creating different variations of wallets and the community will support it. And I know a lot of things come up about exchanges. Everyone's always asking, and I think a lot of it is their new persons that jump on and say, "Have you submitted to Bittrex? Have you submitted to Polynex? Have you submitted to?" Yeah, we have, and you can keep submitting. It's just the way it goes. That's just the way it happens. I think since we started, since the coin was launched, there's been a lot of community members that have been submitting to many different exchanges. I think there's a couple of people that have been dedicated to just looking for exchanges and submitting, and they come to us and ask us for information, and we help them fill out forms, and it works that way. It's helping a lot because it helps. Several people are doing the same thing at once, and it helps quite a bit. I think that we have to we continue that type of approach where many people are doing the same things that require filling out forms and submitting to exchanges. It's helping a lot. There's on the info bulletin board. There's at least 3 exchanges that are being voted on now. So I encourage you to go look that up and submit your votes if you haven't already. And also there are some that say their statuses need submissions. There is some guidance on those forms that links you to a Google document. All the information should be there that you need to submit. So we encourage you to also submit to those that are listed on the info site as well.
Yeah, I agree with sort of everything you said then. Right.
I think we can move on to the.
One thing I was
we're
going to
going
add.
to discuss the SWOT analysis. I don't know who's.
Just quickly to
I'm
add
not
on
sure
to that.
who's,
People
lead
asking about markets, and exchanges, etc. There's not much point of us paying, like I mentioned before, loads and loads of BTC to get on an exchange if we haven't actually got the core features there. We're just going to tank. We need to make sure we've got our core features, we've got our website up, we've got everything sorted before we get on the big exchanges. Because we don't want to be another one of those ICO, oh, we're going to do this, guys, or a coin is going to be like, oh, here's our great idea. We haven't done anything yet, though, but we're going to do that. So we want to make sure we have all our core features, we have the sort of basic idea, and then we can sort of move forward with exchanges.
Do we have any questions coming in from any of the channels?
Yeah, I've got some person just asked now. The coin will appear on What to Mine again soon? Question mark. I can answer this one. From a marketing standpoint, I think it's a good idea, but we'd have to get on an exchange that has good API because CCX is terrible, I believe. So, yeah.
I think What to Mine actually removed it as a supported exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, and a coin is on What to Mine. You just have to put in the numbers yourself, which is a bit of a hassle, but it's not like it's not nothing against the coin. It's just against that exchange. And like CryptoX said, we're working on getting on a bunch of different exchanges. but you can't just go to Bittrex and say, "Hey, add us," and force them to do it. They do what they want, and they've probably received hundreds of submissions from BitcoinZ members, and it's really just up to them when they see that the coin is ready to be listed on an exchange of their size, then they will list us. We don't know what their timeline is. They don't give us any information. So if you really want to be on Bittrex, or if you want to be on any of those other exchanges, then communicate that to them. Let them know, and that's what drives their decision to add a coin. There are
Money.
exchanges like Cryptopia that require BTC funding, which that one requires, I think, 5 BTC or 4.5 BTC, and we don't currently have that in the community chest. So if you want to be on other exchanges that require funding, then please donate. We have no dev fee. We don't collect money by force. We have pools that donate. So please, if you're mining on Supernova, stop. Go to a pool that donates to the community. Otherwise, if you are on Supernova and you don't want to leave them, that's fine. Then please make a donation yourself. The more money that we can get into the community chest, the more we can do something to whether we get on other exchanges or fund marketing or all these different things that require real money to do. So it's not just the community, the guys that are working on the back end, that are setting up all these services, that are doing all this planning. And unfortunately, we don't have the money to pay for all these different things.
I want to mention that also the donations that are coming in from the pools and the donations that are coming in from anyone really. Since the last meeting that we had, there's been quite a movement of pools joining in and ideas coming up. Like I mentioned earlier about HashGod is doing the giveaway, and I think also Jim Triangle is doing a giveaway on his pool. I know Patrick was doing something on his pool. I mean, there's just so many pools, mining pools, that have jumped in to offer and to donate directly to the community, and these campaigns have become very interesting. It's been amazing to see that type of movement. That is the definition of community. So I just want to thank everybody that's involved in that, and thank everyone who has been donating and who puts forth an effort, and that I just see it coming together quite nicely.
A lot of the smaller pools who are donating are trying to match Supernova's fee. So Supernova charges 1%. There's several pools who also charge 1%, but they collect 0.2 or 0.5 for the pool, and then the rest goes to the community. So just by going to a pool that donates doesn't necessarily mean you're going to pay more. A lot of times it's matched, or sometimes even less. We do have a pool that donates 5% to the community. So if you're looking to really help, then definitely mine on that pool if you can.
Yep.
All right. I don't know. Is there anything else that we need to cover? Are we missing any questions on YouTube?
Questions on what pool do you advise?
Any pool that donates, there's a list, I believe, if you go on the Slack or on one of the guiding pages.
Yep. On BitcoinZ guiding.ovh, under the pool section, there is a list of pools and their donation fees that are allocated.
Sorry, I pasted a link, and for some reason I had an extra character at the end that was hidden. I'll paste it again. There's the link for those who are asking. As far as the nearest future, we're planning on just continuing to work on everything we've been working on, which is marketing, cleaning up the site, putting everything on one domain. We've got the wallets, we're moving those into the proper namespaces on GitHub and updating the code base, making sure the Git history is there. What else we got? CryptoX?
Continuing posting all of the proposals and the events and all of the progress we're doing on the bulletin site and evolving that. I think it's a great window into the status, and it's like I said, it was just launched, so we're adding things just about every day and keeping it updated. So I think that's one of the good places to go look at. It's going to kind of give you a list form of what we're working on and what is to come.
Cool. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I think we're good to disband here. Thank you for everybody who's watched. If you have any other questions, please reach to us on Slack or Discord, or we're always there. This is a global coin. If we're not there, just leave a message and somebody will probably get back to you soon. Thank you, everybody who's here. Appreciate your time. Keep up the good work, and let's take BitcoinZ where it needs to go.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you.
Let us.
Right. Bye-bye.
See you.